Hi, my name is Maynard. I'm an artist showing at Kafka, Kitchener-Waterloo, and I'm in front of City Hall, standing in the reflecting pool, which is not filled with water yet. And I was invited to come down here. Well, actually, I applied to come down here. I like the concept of the show, which is Veracity. So, artists like to play with truth often. And so this piece I had considered when I was working in Newfoundland, and I made a floating house in Newfoundland. And for me, the idea of Newfoundland, the kind of state of migrations, people coming and going from Newfoundland, and I built this kind of floating salt box shaped house, which was illuminated from inside. That was kind of like a beacon for the people of Newfoundland to come back to, which they always do, to the rock. So I had heard about the Kafka show, and I thought this piece would suit it. And I was very excited about being able to show this piece in the reflecting pool. It's a fantastic pool. It's in front of City Hall. It's about 100 feet long, 50 feet wide, and my house here, which is magically floating off the water here, all by itself. And but to stop it from floating away, we need to have these ropes to hold it down, and then the very heavy boulders, which then also secure the ropes to keep it floating around, kind of a little bit like Gulliver's Travels or something. And so having the reflecting pool, I'm able to use the full length of the pool to work with the space. And I was sort of playing around with that concept that at times in our lives, right, we can choose to believe in certain things, right, and oftentimes they're based on feelings and emotions and sort of roads, choices, the crossroads that we take, right. And so maintaining gravity is saying here that gravity is an optional choice, whether you choose to believe in gravity or not. And generally, of course, everybody generally believes in gravity, but what happens if you don't, right? So the edges hold the water right up to the edge. What you see here is the boulders, which are and the mechanics of the structural support of the house are in place and easy to see. But when the water is in, all that material is going to disappear. The only thing we're going to see is the house floating 3 feet above the ground, the ropes, and the boulders. At nighttime, inside the house, there's a light, and that'll turn on in the evening sometime. And the interior is done with it's plexiglass, but done with masking tape and urethane. And when it's illuminated from the inside, it kind of looks like a burning ember. And then also it's going to be cool because underneath the house, we'll see the house shape reflected in the water, illuminated. So that's very exciting for me because I've never set this piece up outside of my studio, so this is a great spot. There's some structural elements to this piece for sure. However, I'm not an engineer, and so for instance, when I was building this piece, I hung the house from the ceiling of my studio, and I used real ropes to see what they did. And basically I copied the shapes of the ropes out of steel, which gave me my structure that held the house up in place. And then the rest of it was just more or less nuts and bolts. People, I'm not sure, I haven't noticed very many smiles, but people are puzzled, they're curious, they go, I know, I'm guessing, but I've had lots of comments from people as I'm just even working on the piece. The first question is how does it stay up? And I just sort of go, well, anyways, my answer varies depending on who asks, but I like magic or a little bit of willpower kind of thing, keeps it up.